Hello, everyone. How you doing? You're very welcome to this week's Rugby View with myself, Aidan and Raftery. And of course, as always, every week we have Adrian and Leddy from Craig's Rugby Club. Hello, Adrian. How are you? Are you well?
Oh yeah, Aidan, no, all good, yeah,
Great,
absolutely.
great to have you
You,
back,
you'll
and
have,
looking forward to Christmas and all that.
Absolutely, yeah. They have a few Christmas functions already had, and a couple more to go. So it'll be, and all the family coming home for Christmas. It'll be good now, you know. Yeah.
That's what it's all about, and of course the kids and all that. So I'd like to take this opportunity to wish yourself and your family and everyone at Craig's a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year, and to all the listeners as well that has listened to the Friday Sport and indeed GA View all year. We hope you enjoyed the shows, and we'd like to wish you and your families and friends all the best for Christmas and the New Year, and of course we also remember, I suppose, the people that are homeless at this time as well, and I suppose the people that have no family as well. So we'll keep them in mind. So so I suppose it's coming very near Christmas now, but the activity is still buzzing in Craig's Rugby Club.
Yeah, that's going on all the time, and it's absolutely fantastic that there's nearly a full week's program out there nearly every week now at the moment with finals and so on. So the mini had training last Saturday. Conditions weren't great. They were even worse again on Sunday, uh, but they went ahead and had a good training session, and they're all set in for the visit of Buccaneers and Dunmore for a blitz this Saturday. So it's all go with them, and this will be the final blitz now before Christmas. So they'll enjoy it, and I'm sure there'll be all kind of Santy things and Christmas things out there for them as well, and they'll make a good morning of it on Saturday.
And I'm sure after the mini rugby training, I'd say everyone went into Roscommon town. There was a great Roscommon Christmas festival on Saturday. I know it was kind of a bit breezy on Saturday, but it was nice to see the kids and their parents and families out enjoying it, because there was a lot of good lovely stalls, and of course the Loughlin Park was full as well, and they did it all up, and it was very nice to see people out and about. But Sunday was a different kettle of fish. It finished early, but it attracted a lot of kids and families to Roscommon, and it was great to see it, wasn't it?
It was, but it was unfortunate that with all the effort that was put into it, and it was a good attraction, and a lot of people were talking about it. But it was just unfortunate that it just turned so miserable over the weekend for the organisers and for the people that put in all the effort for it. But it was great, and I'd hope that that it would go ahead again, because you need that bit of buzz around the town. And thanks to all the stewards and to the Gardaí and all for the way that they ran it as well, and the way they had cordoned off the square in Roscommon for the day.
That's it. And I suppose back on to rugby matters, it was great to. I'm sure the kids now are, they love the mini rugby now, and there is there another week before Christmas? Is there another session before Christmas, or is that the last one?
Just this Saturday with the blitz with Buccaneers and Dunmore, and they can enjoy their Christmas then and be ready again in January. So that's it's great, and great for all the coaches and parents. They all had a great year, and in this year, and let's hope that they'll finish out the season come January again, and it'll be all up and running, and they will have a lot of various blitzes in different areas, and Craigs will be hosting some of them blitzes as well. So there's a lot to look forward to come the new year.
That's it, and I suppose on behalf of everyone here in Rosfm, of course, we'd like to say well done to all the volunteers and all the coaches and yourself for being around the club, and everyone involved in the club that did their bit throughout the year. Well done. And without these people, it wouldn't be possible for these for the mini rugby players and underage players, and indeed the first and seconds or development teams. So it's because of all the volunteers and that and of course the sponsors and that and fundraisings and all that makes the club possible and make it possible to field teams.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Aidan. It's good to have that sort of support, and even people that met me yesterday in Craig's just said to me, you must have a great committee to have such a setup in Craig's, and it's nice to be able to say to outsiders that we're fortunate in having such a good hard working and committee with a lot of foresight in doing the development that they did in Craig's, and the final touches to the new places. They're putting in the floors at the minute. They're finishing off some of the tiling. So again, it will be a case of making sure that all the electrical and plumbing work will have to be done for all the various showers, and that will probably take a bit of time. But at least it's looking more advanced now when you walk through it than it was, say, a couple of months ago.
And of course, off the field as well, there's the very successful weekly lotto as well, and that's been ongoing as well, and it's going very well at the moment.
It is, yeah, and it's a draw worth winning now, and anybody that's out there that's not in it, it's a good opportunity to join up, and you might win the jackpot. So, when you're looking at nearly 12,000 of a jackpot, it will be a nice one coming into Christmas now to get. So, I'd encourage people to join up on the Craig's Lotto within the next week or two to get in there in time for the major Christmas draw.
And of course, that would make a lovely Christmas present for someone, the chance to win money coming up to Christmas. It could make a big difference, and especially with the cost of a lot of things nowadays, the few quid from the lotto would make a big difference.
To be very welcome indeed, Aidan. Indeed. But getting back to rugby, I suppose that the one thing that we had done, and the amount of youth teams that involved in Craig's now, when thinking nearly that they're putting out teams at all age levels, and to see the amount not alone on with the boys teams, but with youth teams as well. So like boys last weekend, they had under 17s and under 16s. They lost out to under 17s, lost out to Corinthians. Our under 16s lost out to Ballina away, and our under 14s had a win against Ballina. But our girls did very well. Our under 16s and our under 18 girls, both teams won against the opposition in both occasions, were Tuam Muctarard, an amalgamation of Tuam and Muctarard. So it's a bright future there for girls rugby and women's rugby within Craig's, when you have two teams probably coming up against the strongest side at the moment in Connacht.
That's it, and of course, it's essential for it's great to see the ongoing development and growth in the women's game as well, isn't it?
And it is, yeah. It's fantastic, and they seem to be enjoying it immensely. Like as I say, they're playing it now in the schools level, and they're turning out in big numbers for training at the various training sessions during the week as well. So, and like again, this weekend, like coming up to Christmas, their under 18s have taken on a friendly at home against Mullingar this evening, and our under 16s take on Ballina away. and our under 14s are at home on Sunday to Garta Monavea. So again, that's a good bit of rugby at this stage of the year for girls rugby, and it shows the amount of commitment that they're prepared to make. Even to travel for the under 16 girls having to travel down to play a game against Ballina on Saturday morning.
That's it. And we'd like to wish all the underage section as well a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. And of course, to the mini rugby players as well, all the kids and all the coaches, happy Christmas and prosperous New Year. And I suppose that brings us on to the first and seconds. But we'll touch on the first because we did cover that last week. Saying they were playing Tuam last weekend, and we thought that we were saying that they'd have to be at the peak of their focus and ability against this Tuam team. But I was looking at it in the local papers there, and quite a convincing win over Tuam.
Yeah, we had. We got out of the blocks early. I think we learned our lesson from the game against Connemara and a previous game against Tuam, that they were ready for them this time, and they started exceptionally well. And I have to say that they played well overall, and they took their scores exceptionally well, and they went out and won handy enough, as you say, and then end up at 33-0. But again, it just showed by taking the Tuam team on. They had a lot of, as I said last week, that they had a heavier pack than ours, and it was a case of moving them around on the pitch in Craigs, and our backs had the beating of them, and that was the difference in the teams, that we got scores. Unfortunately, we had two serious enough injuries from the game, and I'd like to wish the injured players well. But again, they have a rest now until they're out in the Junior Cup on the 14th of. On the 14th of January, so they have a good rest over the Christmas period. Now, needless to say, that the management and coaching team will have them out training over the Christmas and have them ready for the cup campaign as well. So the cup campaign will be running in conjunction with the league. They'll be running off a couple of cup games now in the Junior Cup, and then it's back into league. There's a couple of crucial games for us left yet. We have two Mayo teams to play in the league, and hoping that we get the second place in the league. I'd say that we can take it that Connemara will head up that particular league at the moment, and that we will be looking for second place. And the two teams that we have to play still in the league is Castlebar and Westport, and we have both teams at home.
That's it, and it's going to be it is essential, I suppose. It's nice for them to enjoy Christmas, but they also realize that they have a game to prepare for as well, kind of after it. But it's about still, even though with all that, they're still getting out on the pitch and training, and I suppose that brings us also on to the second team.
Yeah, the second, unfortunately, with the weather conditions and with the tornado below in Leitrim Village, Carrigal-Shannon Club is very close to Leitrim Village. So there was an inspection of the pitch in Carrick on Saturday morning, or on Sunday morning, and they had no other option but to call the game off. Not alone for the pitch being not playable, but also on a safety ground with the type of warnings that was out. Now, little did we think that the damage that the tornado caused in Leitrim Village, that was coming at the time that the game was called off. So lucky enough that nobody was killed, and everybody, from that point of view, the lot of structural damage to houses and sheds and boats and so on, but no, everybody came away safe miraculously from it. So again, that Carrick game now will have to be refixed. We actually have there's home and away in the seconds league. We actually have now to play them 3 times. We have to play them twice in the league, and the other night we drew them in the cup as well. So we will be no, we'll know one another well enough before the season is over. So this weekend, we play Chum Seconds at home in Craigs, and again, Chum Seconds is going well. They were in a final as well against Monavea, and Monavea defeated them in the particular final. But they're a good team, the Chum Seconds. So again, we will have our first team subs and all available on Sunday. It's on Sunday in Craig. So anybody that's about on Sunday, 2:30 in Craig's, come along and support the team. It should be a very good game.
That's it, and we'd like to wish both teams all the best. And of course, that brings us on now nicely to the Energy AIL League and all the teams from the West that are involved in that. And I suppose the usual teams, Buccaneers and Sligo and Carrick and Shannon and teams like that. So and Corinthians and that. So what's the story with all those teams?
Yeah, just before you go on to that, I just want to mention that we had 3 exciting finals in at schools level in Craigs on Wednesday, and it was great. A great turnout, massive turnout from particularly from the 2 schools in Sligo Grammar and the Maris College in Athlone. They played in both schools league finals and in both the junior A and senior A, and there were 2 great games, 2 fantastic games, and in fact it was on a knife edge, both games to the very end, and and both games ended up in a draw. So you couldn't call it. As I said, it was Sligo Grammar looked to have won the senior game, but then Maris College came back very strong in the last 5 minutes. They scored a great try and converted it from the touchline, and then they attacked from the kickoff again. And Sligo Grammar were very fortunate to be able to hold them out. And it was the opposite in the junior A final. But it was great, and it's great for school rugby. And the one other nice thing about it was that within the 2 teams from Carrick and Shannon Rugby Club that's playing youth rugby with Carrick and have come through the mini rugby scene, that they had 11 players involved in the panel on both within the Sligo Grammar team. So, again, they it's great to have players like that coming through and able to take their place in the schools team in Sligo. And the curtain raiser was the women's game with the Convent in Rosfm and Culastamere in Ballygar. So that was a great game as well. So that was great to have 3 schools games in Craigs and played in good conditions. Now that was a extremely mild, good day for rugby.
And of course, and as we always say, and people would know this as well, how vital schools rugby is to the development of these players as they go through their career. It's essential for their development, isn't it, as players? And it's just another strand for them. And as well as obviously they're playing for their clubs. Some of them are playing also for their provinces. And I was watching on Facebook, I think, a video. One of the lads was interviewed there. You were saying in one of the Maris players actually was interviewed after the game. And he was on the Ireland international. He was on the Irish team as well, the Irish underage team. So that's that just goes to show you how the importance that schools rugby plays in the development of these players.
Oh yeah, like if you look at Robbie Hinshaw, that's how Robbie Hinshaw came in from the Maris school into professional rugby and got a development contract and worked his way up. And I'm sure a lot of young lads around Athlone are looking up to the various players from Athlone, Ballinasloe, that whole area that have that's going to schools in both Athlone and in Garberley in Ballinasloe as well. So it's good. It's good there that there's players coming through and there's players making into the kind of the academy and working their way up into the kind of team. So that's where it's at, and you can see probably with Leinster that the schools nearly create the academy for Leinster. So that's at a different level altogether. But it's where our schools are improving all the time as well, and particularly a combination of work that's going on both between the club and the school, like what we're doing in Craigs with the work of coaches going into the CBS and other schools, and then playing both with the school and playing with the club as well. So they're getting a double sort of games with playing with both, and that's a big help in their development.
And of course, as well, the other side of it as well is with the I suppose with the Convent of Mercy. It's good to see that dynamic between obviously Craig's Rugby Club and the other and the Convent of Mercy as well. That's essential for them, and it's playing a huge part in the growth of rugby in the women's game.
Oh, it is indeed. Yeah, that's essential. And it's great to have it going both in Rosfm and in Ballygar, and both of them will feed into the club, and both of them knows one another because a lot of them are playing out in Craigs as well at underage level, and the friendship that they build up between the different schools as well, and they'll be able to gel that into in wearing the Craigs colours in playing matches. Yeah, we're mentioning about AIL. I suppose we're coming to the end of the first part of the season, and you have to look at maybe where people are in the leagues and so on. And I suppose we see the Buccaneers struggled in the AIL so far this season, and we'd be hoping that the new year that they will improve. They got a couple of results that has maybe got the bottom of the league, and they want to probably get a few more results to be safe in that particular league. And the Sligo remains mid table. Corinthians top their particular table, and Galwegians are going reasonably well. They're about mid table as well, and Ballina got two recent results that bring them off the bottom of the table. So it's a way that these particular clubs try to survive within the AIL and within the particular divisions, and some of them will be looking for promotion. Corinthians are strongly in a good position going into the new year for promotion out of the particular league that they're in at the moment. So I would hope that Buccaneers and Ballina will pick up a number of league points to remain in their particular leagues.
So yeah, yeah.
No, just that as I say, the Buccaneers, for instance, rely very heavily on players out of the academy, and that's the difficulty that they have. That when some of the academy players aren't available to them, the Buccaneers teams seem to struggle. So the weeks that they have a good flow of players from the academy, they're in a lot stronger. But it's a difficult one to manage, and I'm not sure if I'm a manager and coach of a team it's a hard situation where you have players come when you don't know, and maybe until the Thursday, what players is going to be released by Connacht for your team, and that's the difficulty that Buccaneers have to gel these players into the team. So anyway, it's there. We will talk about it further in the new year when the AIL gets up and running again, and there will be a lot of good tight games ahead for them. And when you take it that Sligo were basically 2 tries down with very little time left in the game away to Malahide, and they came back and got 2 great tries to actually win the game by 2 points. So that's how tight some games can be, and it can be a bit of luck and the way the ball runs for you, and you can come away with a victory. Carrick-on-Shannon is continue to strive. They have a lot of games, and they will be playing games early in January, because there was a couple of games, other games apart from the Craigs game that was called off. So they will be back on the 7th of January with a refix against Ballina. So there's a lot of rugby going on there, and hopefully there that Carrick-on-Shannon will be able to and pitch and all, that they'll be able to get run off the rest of their fixtures.
Fingers crossed, and we'd like to wish all the teams in the AIL all the best. And I suppose this brings us on to Connacht Rugby as well. And unfortunately, it didn't get any better for them last weekend in the URC.
Well, it was last weekend and this weekend. It has switched over to the European Cup, and
the European Cup. Sorry,
yeah. It was the first game in the European Cup, and unfortunately against the Turin would be on from Bordeaux from France. They came a cropper big time. Connacht failed miserably to in a lot of respects, both in the forwards and in their backs. Their lineouts was a shambles, and the speed of the French players were something else, and they running coming into the ball at speed, and it made it difficult to defend. And Connacht were at 6s and 7s in relation to their defence, and they ran in a number of soft, what looked for spectators a number of soft tries, and people were after the performance against Leinster, and maybe having lost the Leinster game in the last play of the game, maybe it took its toll and they put such an effort into the Leinster game that it may have taken a toll on the players. So they're not going to have an easier one this weekend either. They travel over to England to play one of the top sides, Saracens, who would have a lot of the English squad within their particular team. So it's going to be another baptism of fire for a lot of the kind of players. So that, say their journey in the European Cup mightn't be very pleasant with the type of teams that they're coming up. That maybe it's another level up, Aidan, from the URC.
That's it. But I suppose really when you look at Connacht as well, I know, we could say a lot of the the Ireland internationals now are back in the squad, but after the exploits with the Ireland team in the World Cup, it'll probably take the Ireland players that are back in the squad. It'll take them a few games to get back into it again, because it is a big ask to put them back into the team, I suppose, even incrementally, and expect them to perform to the absolute peak of their game. It does take a few games to get back up there again, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, and definitely they looked rusty on last Friday night, and unfortunately, one of our international players, Mark Hansen, had to go off with an ankle injury, so he's out for this weekend, and I don't know how serious and how long that he will be out with the particular injury. But he was in some discomfort afterwards with his ankle. So we hope for the best that it's not a long-term injury, or that it wasn't re-aggravating the injury that he had towards the end of the World Cup.
That's it. We'd like to wish him all the best, and of course, we'd like to wish Connacht Rugby all the best now in their game this weekend as well. And I suppose it's kind of they've lost the last maybe couple of games, I know, in the two competitions, but sometimes when you're in that kind of a rut, sometimes it can be hard to get out of that rut, but it can be easily healed when you just get that. All you need is that just one win, just to kind of get the morale back up, and hopefully they can get back onto their peak again, because they have been, I suppose, overall, when you look at the first half of the season, they have been doing well in some of the games. The one that I would probably look back on, where I could say they were unlucky, was the game against was it Edinburgh or Glasgow? I think it was Glasgow, wasn't it? Where they lost with the points,
I suppose I suppose the most unluckiest game was the one against Leinster, and that's the one that they would feel.
That's another one. Yeah.
That's the one hardest done by, like, to have lost out against Leinster, So
that's it. Well, listen, thanks very much for taking the time out to do Rugby View with us, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you
very much. And that was myself and Adrian Leddy talking about all things rugby.